Hello, I'm Karen Miller. I'm the co-host of the webinar today. So thank you for attending and let's get started. It's my pleasure to introduce you to my friend and our workshop speaker, Demetri Chambers. Hello, Demetri.
Hello, Karen. Thank you.
Let me give just a little quick introduction about you. You know, you are a business attorney and you've been helping business owners with their legal problems for over 27 years. The problems range from reviewing contracts to engaging in complex commercial litigation. Demetri enjoys spending time with his wife of 30 years and reading how-to books and articles. So, Demetri, let's get started today and let me ask just a couple of questions. First thing, how do people end up signing a bad contract?
Okay. I found in my practice three primary reasons. One is that people get too much in a hurry to get the thing that they're contracting for. So if it's a new car, they're too much in a hurry to get in the car and take off that they just sign the contract and take off. And so they get too excited about the thing that they're going to get. The second thing is that they simply don't read the contract. The contract may be 30 or 40 pages and they don't want to read that many pages. They look and see, yeah, I'm buying a car, and that's all they think they need to look at, and they sign. Then the last reason is that people sometimes just want to go home. They've been there all day, whatever it is that they're buying. They've talked and thought all day, and now when it's signing time, they're ready to go home, and they simply sign.
Well, I know the feeling of having to sit and wait, so I can
Yes,
understand that. So,
yes.
what do you hope for people to take away from the webinar today?
I have seen the pain of what happens when people sign bad contracts. I have felt my clients' pain, and what I would like to do today is basically eradicate the problem of signing bad contracts. What I hope people walk away with is a tool that they could use the next time that they sign a contract, and the goal is that they never sign a bad contract again.
That's a good goal.
Yes.
Just one other quick question. When it comes to making sure that you don't sign a bad contract, how many steps are there? Sounds like it would be really complicated.
Actually, I've come up with 6 basic steps. The first one is simply don't be in a hurry. Now, if you feel like you're in a hurry, that's the time to make sure that you don't sign the contract. Sometimes what being in a hurry is about is how you manage your time and space. You wait to the last minute to sign a new lease for your apartment or something like that, and you're in a hurry. Slow down. You don't want to be impulsive when you need to sign a contract. Now, step number two, you need to make a list of what I call your must-haves. Every contract there should be things that you know you need to have. So for example, if you're buying widgets and it's important to you that the widgets are blue, you need to add it to your list of must-haves. All widgets must be blue. Well, if the widgets need to be baby blue, then you define it that clearly, baby blue. So you should have a list of things that you must have, and you come up with the list before you go to the place where you're going to be looking at a contract. You have your own private list of must haves before you even look at the contract. Now, step number three, you need to have a list of what I call your deal breakers, things that you will not sign the contract if you see it in there. For example, let's just say you're signing a lease and there's a clause in the lease agreement that says that if you do not if you do not terminate the lease, or if you do not give notice of termination within 30 days of the term, then it automatically renews. Well, on your list of deal breakers, you may put on there, I don't want a lease that has an automatic renewal deadline. That way, you don't get in a situation where the renewal date or the date that you have to give notice that you're not going to renew passes and you're stuck another year. So think about the things that you don't want in the contract and you create a list. of your deal breakers. Now, step 4, what you want to do is when you get to step 4, you made your mind up. I'm not in a hurry. I've got my list of must-haves and I've got my list of deal breakers. Now is the time to look at the contract. You don't need to look at a contract before you've done those first 3 steps. I'm not in a hurry. I know what I must have, and I know what is a deal breaker. Now you read the contract and you check this step 4, check that all of your must-haves are there. And if there is a missing must-have, you call the other side and say, I see you didn't put the color of widgets. I don't see that they're blue. If they won't change the widgets to blue or make it clear in the contract that they're going to be blue, stop and go home. You don't want to sign a bad contract. If it's a must-have for you, then you make them state blue, because they may tell you, oh, don't worry about it, they'll be blue, we don't need to add that. I'll be sure, I'll make sure that they're blue. But if they will not put blue in the contract and that is a must-have, stop and go home. Don't sign a bad contract. Now,
I have a quick question.
yes.
So, what if you feel like you're going to hurt somebody's feelings if you and say, "Oh, I'm just going home." I mean, how should you feel about that?
Well, that's back to don't be in a hurry. Don't worry about other people's feelings, because you're going to be the one with bad feelings if you sign a bad contract. And
That's true.
I can I can promise you that if you call a lawyer and you're trying to undo or get out of a bad contract, and the issue is the I need to call the other side and tell them that my client's feelings are hurt, they won't care. And so this is the time for you to be concerned about your feelings. So
Okay.
step number 5. So if if all of your must-haves are there, then step number 5, you want to check for the deal breakers. If you see any deal breakers in the contract, you ask the other side, strike them out, remove them, whatever it takes to get them out of the contract. You ask them to take them out. Now, if they won't, and let me give you some tips. A lot of times when you're negotiating, the other side will tell you verbally, don't worry about that. We will never enforce that. We've never enforced that before. Don't don't listen to them. Ask them to remove the deal breakers. If they won't, stop. Go home. Don't sign a bad contract. Now, step number 6. Now, if you've got through the first 5 steps, now it's time to read the contract. Now, you notice I didn't say anything to you about reading it word for word. All you've been doing so far is checking for the must-haves, checking for the deal breakers. Now you read the contract from top to bottom. Anything you do not agree with, you flag it and you let the other side know, I don't agree with this or I don't agree with that. Anything you don't understand, you make sure you get an understanding. Now, let me talk to you first about the things you don't agree with. There are two words I want you to remember. One is renegotiate. The other word is resolve. So you're negotiating. They tell you, well, um, we know you want baby blue widgets. We can give you ocean blue, but we don't have baby blue. You either renegotiate and you give the blue that you want, or you resolve to yourself that I can live with the other blue. You resolve it at that point. You don't wait till you sign the contract and years go by and you really wish you had the right blue. In your own mind, if you can't resolve it, no deal. You don't sign the contract. So when you get to this point, you want to make sure that every issue that you don't agree with, you either renegotiate and make them put it in the contract the way you want it, or you resolve in your own mind that I can live with the different shade of blue, for example. Now, for the things that you don't understand, you need to know that there's a difference between disagreeing with something and simply don't understand it. You make sure that before you sign that you get an understanding. I've seen people skim by clauses and terms. They don't know what they mean. And I will be giving other workshops about certain clauses like indemnity clause and things like that. But when you come across a clause that you don't understand, don't trust the other side to give you a good understanding. Get help. Call a lawyer. Call for a consultation. Sometimes a simple consultation can save you all types of griefs and heartaches. So when you get to this stage, when you read the contract, you make sure you read it and then identify the things that you don't understand, identify the things you don't agree with, and resolve and renegotiate. So there's your 6 steps to understanding how to avoid signing a bad contract.
You know, that you made it sound so easy. And that was very informative, Demetri. Let's see. You know, do you have any final thoughts for our attendees today?
Yes, for our attendees, I will send you all. I call it my simple checklist for avoiding the signing of a bad contract. So I'll send you all a checklist. But here's what I want to leave you with. Please never be in a hurry to sign a contract. I've told people all the time when I get calls with people wanting to sell me things. I have a personal policy that I don't sign a contract the first day I get it. So if I get something, I tell them I'll get back with you tomorrow. So come up with some of your own personal policies, but never be in a hurry to sign a contract. Always get help. If you can call me. If I can't help you, I'll find someone that can help you. I can refer you to someone. I've been doing contract reviews and negotiations. I've been involved in very complex contract litigation for 27 years. Get help. I can't tell you the number of times where people have called me crying because they signed a bad contract. And if anyone wants to get a copy of the outline, you can send me an email and I can send you the outline. It's simple, 6 steps.
Great. So your phone number is 832-925-8337. And your email is DC, like Demetri Chambers, dc@walkerchambers.com. Demetri, thank you so much for taking time today to share these very important 6 steps on contracts. And do you have other workshops coming up for us?
Yes, I plan to do a whole series on contracts. I plan to talk about partnerships because it really gets down to business relationships. My goal in my life is to give away every good thing that's in me so that at the end of life, I will have given and done the best I can to bless and help others. That's really what I want to do with my life.
Well, thank you so much, Demetri. And this has been informative. And please reach out to Demetri if you have any questions regarding how not to sign a bad contract. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Karen. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.